Hello, beautiful souls. Good to see you all today as we get to share in our course lesson. So today's course lesson is lesson 16. I have no neutral thoughts. Now, this thought for today is literally the beginning processes of us dispelling this idea that our thoughts have no effect. Now, what I'm reminded of with this idea that I have no neutral thoughts is almost bringing me back when I was at my very, very, very beginning stages of mind training, where I believed that I had to hold on to these positive thoughts and let go of these negative thoughts. Yet at the time, what I didn't know is that the way in which we let go of these negative thoughts is literally by a reinterpretation by our internal teacher. Instead, what I was almost doing is pushing it aside or pushing it downward and just fluffing it off as if, I can just choose these positive thoughts and my negative thoughts don't mean anything. But what we're being shown today is that every single thought has an effect. So even those thoughts that we just brush on by or push on down are still within our subconscious mind because we still believe them to be true, and thus they are still active. They are still there, activated in our life. And this is why a lot of the time we can't get out of that up and down yo-yo of an experience, where some day we're having a good day and some day we're having a bad day, and some days we're happy and some days we're sad. And the reason we're not stable in the emotions is because we're not stable in the mind. We've neglected one side of the coin and tried to focus on the positive when both sides of the coin need to be undone. Because what we're realizing is that the mind of ego is a mind of duality. It has those rights and those wrongs and those goods and those bads and those ups and those downs. It keeps us into the contorted mind. And so because the ego is both sides of the coin, we need to drop both, the negative and the positive. So today is bringing forward to us the recognition that I have no neutral thoughts. I have no thoughts that are idle, and therefore I must be even more vigilant in my mind for God, so that we can learn the distinction between truth and illusion, and not necessarily positive and negative. Because we have true thoughts that we share with God and all of our brothers and sisters wholly and equally, but then we have illusory thoughts that we have merely accepted from this world, about this world, that are untrue. And so today it allows us to truly just take responsibility for our thoughts and recognize that every thought is a cause because it originates here in the mind and it has an effect in our experience. So to read a little bit of the course lesson for today, it says, everything you see is a result of your thoughts. Again, with this idea of projection, right? Either we are projecting fear on the world and we see a world of fear and war and death and sin and chaos, or we are projecting the love of God and we see that this world is a dream, that we are all innocent children of God who are here to awaken to have a happy dream together. So we only ever see one or the two. It continues on saying, there is no exception to this fact. Thoughts are not big or little or powerful or weak. They are merely true or false. Those which are true create their own likeness. Those which are false make theirs. And this is also coming back to the idea that a lot of us talk about wanting this new earth. We want to celebrate in this new earth of harmony and peace. Well, that means that we first must accept the forgiven perception for ourselves and accept the mind that we share with God so that we can co-create a world of peace. And so this allows us to fully recognize that our mind is powerful, that there are no idle thoughts, and every little glimmer of fear or pain or anxiety or judgment that arises, that we can hand it over to the corrective agent in our mind for a reinterpretation. And so that's why today we get to actually sit with this idea. And to continue just a little bit here, it's saying that in addition to never being idle, salvation requires that you recognize that every thought you have brings either peace or war or love or fear, right? And this is what I was mentioning before. A neutral result is impossible because a neutral thought is impossible, okay? And once we kind of accept the power of our thoughts, and that all of our thoughts have power, is when we literally get to open to true healing, because we admit that we don't know the difference between the truth and illusion, and we open to that higher power, we open to that higher consciousness to show us truly. And so today we get to apply today's idea, but Jesus says for us to first search our mind for a minute or so with eyes closed, and actively seek not to overlook any little thought which tends to elude the search. And these little thoughts tend to be distractions, little bits of fear, little things that we push on by and say, oh, don't worry about that. This can be a little difficult until we get used to it, but that's why practice and vigilance is the key. You know, if we want peace, we got to go inward. That's where peace is found. It's not going to be found in this world. So if we really want happiness and healing and peace, we must do the work. Every thought that occurs to you, regardless of the quality which you assign to it, is a suitable subject for applying today's idea. And so once we have looked in our mind and truly dove inward to see what thoughts are there that need application for today's idea, we can basically say this thought about blah, 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 whether it be a person, a place, event, or thing, is not a neutral thought. That thought about blah, blah, blah is not a neutral thought. And so Jesus says that if there is a little bit of uneasiness that comes forward, that is absolutely okay. This is meant to happen so that, again, we bring it to conscious awareness, look at it, undo it, and let it go. That we can continue to apply today's idea. This thought about blah, blah, blah is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. And this brings us back to the place of like, oh, it's okay, all right, I have no neutral thoughts. And so it's all good, and so I hand it over to you. Thank you for showing this to me differently. And as we constantly come back to that humbled openness to truly let our minds be healed, then we have the effortless and easy application of these ideas and truly get to experience life beyond these thoughts in our mind. And that's what we're ultimately aiming for today. Peace is what we want. Happiness is what we want. So with that being said, we all can take this thought throughout our day and let ourselves apply it, and shall be a wonderful experience that we can all share. So I have no neutral thoughts. Enjoy, everybody. Love you all. Bye-bye.